Hello, girls. Welcome back to another session of online education. Today, we will do the next half of the second chapter in history titled India Events After 1960. Girls, you can keep a textbook or its PDF version ready during this session for reference. Before we proceed to the next half, let's quickly recap what you learned in the first half during your earlier virtual class. India became independent in 1947 and accepted the constitutional framework in 1950 and became a sovereign democratic nation. India, during the initial period, did face different issues of economic, political, and social development. The establishment of the Planning Commission and emphasis on industrialization was a means to achieve economic development and eliminate poverty in India. In the decade of 1960s, several events occurred. The regions of Goa, Diu and Daman were freed from Portuguese rule and became a part of Indian Federation. The tension between India and China culminated in the War of 1962. After India became independent, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru became the first Prime Minister, and he was also the architect of India's foreign policy. His contribution to the social and economic development of India is significant. After he passed away, Lal Bahadur Shastri succeeded him and became the next Prime Minister. He gave the slogan Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan to highlight the importance of Indian soldiers and Indian farmers. After Lal Bahadur Shastri, Indira Gandhi became the Prime Minister of India in 1966. During the 1970s decade, the 1971 war between India and Pakistan led to the creation of an independent country called Bangladesh. During this decade, India successfully carried out an underground test of an atomic device at Pokhran in Rajasthan in 1974. During this decade, there was a lot of political instability when the Allahabad High Court gave the verdict in 1974 that Indira Gandhi, the then Prime Minister, misused the government machinery during the election campaign. There was nationwide strikes and protest, and national emergency was declared when the condition worsened. On the backdrop of the emergency, many opposition parties came together and formed a party called Janata Party, which defeated the Congress Party. The Janata Party, under the leadership of Morarji Desai, was not successful due to internal differences, and he was succeeded by Charan Singh. During the 1980s decade, the Sikhs in Punjab demanded an independent state of Khalistan, which went on to become a violent and destructive movement. Pakistan supported this movement, so the Indian army was sent to the Golden Temple at Amritsar to evict the terrorists. Right after Indira Gandhi's assassination, in 1984, Rajiv Gandhi became the Prime Minister of India. He tried to make several reforms in the field of Indian economy and that of science and technology. He also promoted the idea of united Sri Lanka with internal autonomy to the Tamil community. But his efforts were wasted and he was assassinated by the LTT later. Towards the end of the decade of 1980s, the unrest in Jammu and Kashmir had begun. The terrorist activities there forced the Kashmiri Pandits to leave the valley. This problem gave serious day-to-day problems and it took the form of terrorism. Now let's study the changes after 1991. The year 1991 is held to be very important in the history of the world as well as India. The Soviet Union disintegrated into several different small countries and the Cold War came to an end. The government, under the leadership of Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao, initiated many changes in the Indian economy. On December 6, 1992, the issue of Ram Janmabhoomi and Babri Masjid at Ayodhya came to the forefront. You know, girls, there were many Hindu Muslim riots which took place due to it, and for years it continued. Ultimately, the final judgment in the Ayodhya dispute was declared by the Supreme Court of India on 9th November 2019. The Supreme Court of India ordered the disputed land, 2.77 acres, to be handed over to a trust to build the Ram Janmabhoomi. The court also ordered the government to give an alternate 5 acres of land in another place to the Sunni Waqf Board for the purpose of building a mosque. In the elections conducted between 1996 and 1999, no political party got a clear majority in the Lok Sabha. This resulted in 3 governments in a short span of time. Those led by Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, H.D. Deve Gowda, and Inder Kumar Gujral were amongst them. You know, girls, when in 1996 Atal Bihari Vajpayee came to power, he tried to fulfill his long standing dream of converting India into a nuclear state. He even asked his private secretary Shakti Sinha to locate Chief Scientific Advisor Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who was the secretary of the DRDO, Defense Research Development Organization. But before the plans could have shaped, his government fell in just 13 days. And as mentioned earlier, the 2 leaders who followed Vajpayee, H.D. Deve Gowda and Inder Kumar Gujral, did not bother with the nuclear program. But when the BJP came back to power in March 1998 and Atal Bihari Vajpayee once again became the Prime Minister of India, on April 8, Department of Atomic Energy with Chief R. Chidambaram and DRDO Chief APJ Abdul Kalam were summoned and given thumbs up for the test. Vajpayee and his Principal Secretary Brijesh Mishra controlled the entire operation from the Prime Minister's office. The operation was conducted in such high secrecy that nobody except the then Home Minister L.K. Advani knew about it. The National Democratic Alliance was formed in 1999, and Atal Bihari Vajpayee also tried to establish a dialogue with Pakistan but was not successful. Because of the efforts made by Atal Bihari Vajpayee to solve the issues between India and Pakistan failed, in 1999 there was another war between India and Pakistan in Kargil region over the Kashmir issue. India defeated Pakistan in this war as well. Now girls, let's know more about Indian economy after 1991. Right from independence, the modernization of economy, economic self-sufficiency and social justice have been the characteristics of Indian economy. As you can clearly see in the web, India wanted to acquire modernity and self-reliance by establishing industries. We wanted to establish an economy based on social justice through planning. For this, the National Planning Commission was established that would coordinate development through the policy of 5-year plans. Economic liberalization in India was initiated in 1991 by Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao and his then Finance Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. The Indian economy flourished as a result of the implementation of this policy. the foreign investment in India increased. Skilled Indian professionals helped reform the Indian economy. The field of information technology opened several avenues of employment in the country. The changes after 1991 took place due to liberalization, globalization, and privatization. As you can see on the screen, a TNC. TNC Girls is a huge company that does business in several countries. They are much richer than entire countries in the less developed world. They provide work and enrich the country's economy. Two major events must be mentioned while describing India's efforts towards self reliance. Dr. M.S. Swaminathan is known as the father of the Green Revolution in 1965. He implemented new scientific agricultural techniques and increased the production of food grains. As you can see on the screen, what he quoted: if conservation of natural resources goes wrong, nothing else will go right. So let's conserve our nature. Varghese Kurian, known as the father of the White Revolution in India, was a social entrepreneur whose billion-liter idea, Operation Flood, the world's largest agricultural dairy development program, made dairy farming India's largest self-sustaining industry and the largest rural employment provider, being a third of all rural income. It made India the world's largest milk producer from a milk deficient nation, which doubled milk available per person and increased milk output fourfold in 30 years. He was the general manager and later became the chairman of Amul. India also made a lot of progress in the fields of atomic energy and space research. Dr. Homi Bhabha, who was an Indian nuclear physicist, laid the foundation of the Indian Atomic Power Program. Bhabha was also the founding director of the atomic energy establishment Trombay, which is now named the Bhabha Atomic Research Center in his honor. He was also nominated for the Nobel Prize for Physics in 1951 and 1953 to 1956 for 4 years. India insisted on using atomic energy for peaceful purposes like generation of electricity, pharmaceuticals, and defense. India achieved considerable success in space technology as well. In 1975, the first satellite Aryabhatta was launched. Today, India has a successful space program and many satellites have been launched under this program. India has also made considerable advancement in the telecom sector. Now girls, let us see what several major changes took place in the social field in India during that period. Some of the changes were related with the issue of the empowerment of women. To promote the all-round development of women and children, a separate department of women and child development was created in 1985 under the Ministry of Human Resource Development. Some laws were made to ensure social justice to women. That included Prohibition of Dowry Act, Equal Remuneration Act, etc. As per the 73rd and 74th Constitution amendments, seats were reserved for women in the local self-government bodies. According to the makers of the Indian Constitution, some constituents of the Indian society were deprived of dignity and equal opportunities. So, in 1978, a commission was constituted under the chairmanship of B.P. Mondal to study the issue of the backward classes. The policy of reservation was adopted in order to strengthen the representation of backward sections in various services and institutions. The government passed the Prevention of Atrocities Act in 1989 to enable those belonging to the scheduled caste and tribes to live with dignity and respect, free from fear, violence, and oppression of the upper classes. Now let's talk about globalization, which brought about many changes in different fields like economy, politics, science, technology, society, and culture, thus transforming lives and changing lifestyles of people. India also emerged as an important country on the global scene in different spheres. India is an important member of international organizations like G20 and BRICS. BRICS is an acronym coined for an association of five major emerging national economies: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. The BRICS members are known for their significant influence on regional affairs, and all are members of G20. The G20 or Group of 20 is an international forum for governments and central bank governors from 19 countries and the European Union. Founded in 1999 with the aim to discuss policy relating to the promotion of international financial stability. Along with the members of BRICS, the other members of G20 are Argentina, Australia, Canada, China, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, and so on. Globalization refers to an open flow of information, technology, and goods among countries and consumers. There are many benefits of globalization, like we get access to new culture and learn about their culture, food, movies, music, art, spread of technology and innovation, mobile phones, internet, communication facilities based on satellite have spread all across the country, lower cost for products, higher standard of living across the globe, access to new market and new talents. So you see girls, India has demonstrated the world how stable democracy can function successfully, and globalization adds to it by resulting in a total transformation in the lifestyle of Indians and especially the youth. These changes are visible from their dietary habits, clothing, language, and beliefs. Now, girls, for the assignment, see the exercise page number 9. The first question is fill in the blanks by choosing the right option. The first answer is Rajiv Gandhi, and second one is M.S. Swaminathan. Children, we have only two over here, but throughout the chapters, there are many fill in the blanks which you have to locate and learn. Question 1b is identify the wrong pair. The fourth one is wrong. Question 2a, based on the information in the chapter, you have to prepare a chronological chart of prime ministers and their tenure, time period, from which year to which year. Question 2b, the main question is wrong. It's not identify the wrong pair. It is explain the following concepts. Explain the following concepts. Now children, answers to all these questions like question 3a, b, all these are very much from the chapter. Locate them and learn them well. So get going. All the best. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay educated.